The College of Charleston's women's basketball recruiting class has been ranked #1 by the CAA. I talk exclusively with the head women's basketball coach at the College of Charleston, Robin Harmony, for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Coach Robin Harmony, welcome to the award-winning Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thanks. Great to be here and really appreciate the pub you're giving us.
Oh, you're very welcome. Obviously, you're the head women's basketball coach at the College of Charleston. Tell me, who is Coach Robin Harmony right now?
Ooh, that's a good question. Just trying to, build this program, get this team better, day by day. And, when I took over, we ended up, people asked me, why are you taking that job? Why do you want that job? And I was like, Charleston's a great place to live. And, the college, it's another challenge to try to turn around the program. But a lot of people thought I was crazy. And, maybe after the first couple of weeks, I might have thought the same thing. But, it's just a matter of getting into work and, getting the job done. And, we had a pretty decent year, our first year, even though, it wasn't what we wanted, but we were 13-17 and, it was still the best that they've had in years. So, it's just another challenge to try to see if we can get this job done. And it's not just me, it's, having great players and having a great staff and, and working it out. And we just, finished our 21 recruiting class and we had a ranking of 47th in the nation, which is the best that we've ever had at the college. And also we're first in the CAA conference. So that kind of recruiting will help us in the future.
Let me ask you this, Coach. What has the process for recruiting been in the midst of COVID?
Well, we did everything the way you and I are talking now on Zoom. We had relationships with AAU programs and high school coaches. And, we knew the people that we were recruiting, but we didn't get a chance to go watch them play almost for a year and a half because we still can't go watch them in high school. And, you just have to adjust. And, we're walking around campus doing a Zoom call, showing them buildings and things like that. And we're fortunate that at the college, we can go ahead and Google Charleston and come up with some really good views and some good scenery. And then we did that same thing on campus where we showed them the beautiful buildings and how nice it is. And, it's a small town, but it's a big city as well. So you have the best of both worlds when you're a recruit, that you get to come to not a small town, but a big town, but it also can feel small with our close-knit community.
Yes, indeed. And how has the community embraced your presence as head coach thus far?
I think that the alumni are the ones that we're really reaching out to first, because there's a lot that have stayed in the Charleston area and they want to see their program win and be successful. So they have come to support us, and we still have our friends and family that, come into games. Our big thing is we want to get people to come to watch us play, even just one time. And we guarantee you'll like it and you'll come back. If we have, I think that we're getting a couple hundred fans, but we should be able to get, 1,500 fans to come and watch us. But it's a process. It's like you have to win to get somebody to come out and watch you. And that's kind of what we're trying to do. And we think that everything else will take care of itself. But the administration, everybody has been great, helped us, supporting us, and giving us all the tools that we need to be successful.
What other tools do you need right now, Coach?
Well, you can always use money. That helps. You want to do a European tour with your kids once every 4 years. You want to make sure that you have the best gear and the shooting machines. And, we've already had people step up and help us with certain items. And, it makes a big difference when we redo our film room with the really nice Barker Lounger chairs, and we buy a shooting machine, things that we didn't have the first year. And it helps our kids because they can get in and shoot 500 shots in 30 minutes and, get a lot of work done quickly. As far as time frame goes, as being a Division I college athlete, they don't have a lot of time. So, it just helps us in the future to get better.
As a matter of fact, you talk about playing. I know I went back just yesterday afternoon and looked at your interview with Layla Gulen of Fox 24 Now. And you basically told her, hey, we're excited to get back in the gym. When you are in that gym, Coach, Who are the CFC Women Cougars?
Well, we're a team that we like to press for 40 minutes. We're going to play all man. We're going to try to push the ball in transition. We're young, I can tell you that, because, the first year we had 4 sophomores and a freshman starting. Now the sophomores are juniors and the freshman is a sophomore. And then we've signed 5 new players. And a point guard with Tyler Gray is running our point as a freshman. And then on the bench, it's quick freshmen, and it's just giving them a lot of minutes and learning and getting better, and they're working hard. So, that's the style that we play. Obviously, it's below the rim. There's not a lot of dunking, but, it's team ball and communicating and working together, as a unit. But we just go 2 hours a day. The kids come in, we do all of our stretching, our ACL warm-ups, and we get at it. And this year they can battle a little bit more because our second team can beat our first team if the first team goes through the motions. And we didn't have that luxury the year before. So it helps us that we are getting deeper in our depth on our bench. We have other options, and we didn't really have a lot of options the very first year. So it's a good problem to have.
And what options did you use in the first game?
Well, our first game that we played against South Carolina.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that was a little bit of an issue because we did get beat pretty badly. We're learning from that game. We know that our defensive transition was horrendous. But we didn't have the 2 scrimmages ahead of time that we would normally without COVID to either get the rust off, the nerves gone, all kinds of things that we would have helped us do. But we went in and we played the number 1 team in the nation. So it's either the dumbest or the smartest thing we've done, where you see how good they are. They're a WNBA team. They could go right now and compete in the WNBA and be very successful. 7 of them will go to the league. And our kids were nervous and they didn't play well, but we shot the ball more times than they did. We just didn't put it in the bucket. But it's over. You got to go on and move on. And we did. And I think that game helped us beat Wolford.
Yes.
When we played them at home, because same thing would have happened if that was our first game, whether it was home or on the road. So we kind of took one for the team, had a money game, just showed up. And did I think that we'd ever get beat by that many points? No. Have I gotten beat by that many points in my career? No. But we have gotten beat in a team that I coached before by Baylor by 70 points. And they, pretty much left their starters in the whole entire game except for the last 30 minutes. At South Carolina, Dawn did not do that. She played 10 kids. She played them, 20 minutes each, and they're just good. It's not like you put the third string in and you see a big drop and you get some points. But with us, I put the ball in the basket, and we had a tough time doing that. But, our kids now see that that's what it's like to be the number 1 team. And you want to get that good and represent South Carolina, then you got to get better.
Yes. And how many starters will you put in the next game?
How many? What do you mean? How many will we play? Or
yes, ma'am.
Well, we go to Clemson and play now again on Sunday, and we leave Saturday. So that'll be another top 25 team. And we're just going to try to play all the kids that we can. And hopefully we don't get to that situation of missing the first couple shots, and we, can play with them and, compete a little bit, not just go in there and get whooped and come home. But, it's all a growing process. It all helps us for the future, that these kids see what they are lacking, and we can come back and watch film. And the nice thing about film is film doesn't lie. It tells you, no, you didn't rotate, you didn't help the helper, you didn't do this, you didn't close out, because kids swear they did it in the game till they watch it on film, and then they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And let me go right next door, because obviously you just talked about it, Wolford, on November 29th, and you basically told Layla just what you just told me. Get all the dust off of them, then get their nerves out, and they'll help us when we come back on the 29th to win that win, which you obviously did. How did the atmosphere help you all get a win?
I think that just being at home, a lot of our players had their parents come in because they were in for Thanksgiving, so they got to see them play. And we had a couple freshmen do really good jobs. Tyler Gray ran the point, and pretty much played most of the time. And then Chelsea Wooten came in off the bench and was our leading scorer. and, they're trying to give her nicknames and stuff like that. But that kid is talented offensively. So she'll really help us. And, we just, we had a big lead, which our kids played great for 2 quarters. And then we started turning the ball over a little bit and traveling. And, they took a run back at us, but our kids never lost their composure. And then we ended up winning by 9. And, we're going to take that win. And it was a good team that we played, but it's just a matter of we have to make adjustments. We were getting called for fouls at the beginning of the game, and we had all of our starters had 2 fouls. So we had young kids in there again playing. At one time I looked and there was 4 freshmen on the court. I was like, oh, well, this is the way it's going to be. They just going to get their time and they're going to get their minutes, and it'll help them in the future. And the nice thing is that these kids are going to get another year of eligibility. So this year, if you're a freshman, next year you're going to be a freshman too with a year under your belt. So it's just going to help us build our program where, the NCAA is giving them that free year. So it's just going to make us even that much better.
Absolutely. And Coach, what adjustments are you looking at right now as far as making?
Well, we're trying to make sure that our defensive transition is where we need it to be on a miss, because we let somebody get behind us and we give up easy baskets. So that's something that we know that we really need to work on. Our kids are coming in the gym 2-3 times a week with the coach, getting up shots as individuals. We're trying to ask them to come in on their own to get shots up, because that's the only way you get better is by putting the time in and, just working.
Yes, indeed. And Coach, let me ask you this too. What are those players on your team that are must watch right now?
I think it would be Erin Eady, because she's our center. She's a junior. She's on the second CAA preseason all-conference team. So she does a great job. She'll be a double-double machine. Tyler Collins was honorable mention. Treese Perkins. We don't have Treese back yet, but we think that we're going to get her back for the start of conference. And she was last year our leading scorer, and she's just like a perfect fit for what we do, whether it's offense or defense. And then you want to, look at some of the young kids where Chelsea Wooten, offensively so gifted, Tyler Gray running our point as a freshman, Zoe McCary coming in as a post to give Edie a break. And, you just go on and on.
Wow, that's so amazing. And I know you also told Layla in the last interview on Fox 24 Now that you all only got to play 1 game in your conference tournament, obviously before COVID, and you unfortunately lost that. What was the season like prior to that?
Well, prior to that, we were, I think that anybody would have bet on us. They picked us 9th in the CAA, 1 spot from 10. And so we didn't really have anything to lose, because no one expected us to even win 13 games. If I talked to my AD, Matt Roberts, he would say, you win 8 games, I'll probably be happy. They never thought we'd win that many games. And there was a few games that we were really in it and we should have won. We started the season with George Mason, lost by 10, and that was our first game, and the kids competed and the fans saw that, hey, yeah, this is going to be a fun team to watch. And, so it's just building from last year to this year. And, last year was I had to get to know the players. They had to get to know me. They had to get to know our staff, what to expect. And I didn't really realize it until we started winning games. And our kids' reaction was the same whether we won or lost. And they just didn't know how to win, and they didn't know how to act when they won, because they were so used to losing. They won 7 games the year before that. The year before that, they won 3. So there wasn't that tradition of, no, this is our house. We're going to represent. We're going to, you're not going to come in here and beat us. The previous school that I was at, we went 3 years before we had a loss in our own building. So they knew if they came in there, they weren't going to get that W. So that's what we're trying to set up here, where you come in here, it's a hard environment to play. We're going to defend it then. That's what our men do, and that's who our girls watch. They go to their games. They see all the fans. They see them competing. They see them knocking off people that they probably shouldn't have. And they got NBA guys coming in and out the door. But, that's where we want to be too, where we have a lot of fans and we make that environment, and then we feel good about ourselves, and then we go on the road and we compete. But, it's a slow process.
And I might be redundant here, Coach, but when I interviewed Coastal Carolina coach Jamie Chadwell just the other day, he told ESPN that his players never practice nor prepare to be a last place team. How do you prepare like that at the College of Charleston?
Well, I mean, that's kind of why I came in, because we don't want to be the doormat. You know, nobody wants to be that. And when you're in last place, there's only one way to go, and that's up. You know, so this year they picked us 7th. And with our recruiting class coming in 2021, they're going to start noticing us. But, you know, it's just we gotta get those babies to grow up and get the minutes under their belt to get better.
And what is that competitiveness level right now on your team?
I think it's getting right up there, because I kind of go back and steal Pat Riley's quote about there's winning and there's misery. So you got to win and you got to compete. Now, I know they can't win every game, but they can play for 40 minutes and compete and really give it to them. You know, when they come in and go through the motions, then their week of practice is going to be a lot harder. And, you know, we got to get this team where they push themselves. They coach each other and they make each other compete. It's better with peer pressure than it is with coaching giving you the pressure that you want to compete, you want to do well, and you get on each other as teammates, and that makes your team really good then. But, you know, we're not quite there yet. We have a couple leaders that are starting to step up, but, you know, leadership is a 365-day job. And women, it's hard to find that leader because they might want to take the break. And, you know, once you take a break, then you lose respect of your teammates. But, you know, we have a really good senior that's a leader with Shy Blanding, and she don't care. She tells them what they need to know, you know, and a leader, they don't like it, especially with women, because then you're not popular. And, you know, with men, they don't care. They want to push each other and lead, and afterwards they go out and have dinner together. But women, it's harder to coach women because of those different things. And sometimes I think that's why as women, they're not as successful in the real world, the business world, because they don't have that mentality of competition and pushing yourself and not taking everything so personally, you know. But we're working on it. We're getting there. We try to get them ready for the real world to, you know, represent, be on time, don't be late, come to work, do your job. You know, that's just how I was brought up.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And I know obviously you brought on a couple of new players and you have your current players as well in place. But Coach, which one of those particular players resembles you when you were much younger?
Not too many. Not too many. You know, it was different then. Then, you know, now you breathe on somebody, it's a foul. Back when I played, if there wasn't any blood, there was no foul. You know, and it was just a more physical game. But we're going to get some kids that will come in that really don't want to lose. Like, they hate to lose. That's really what I want. It's a tough kid. You know, Nia Covington is a kid that she doesn't play as much. She played last year as a freshman, but she is just a hard worker. She'll defend. She'll crash the boards. She does all the dirty work that you don't see in the stats. But Nia is the kind of kid that, you know, really wants to get out there and battle. But, you know, you're talking a lot of years now. You're throwing me way back. But, you know, it's still the game that we all love and we all want to win and be successful. And, you know, you just got to get kids out of their comfort zone because they like to, you know, nobody really wants to get uncomfortable. But being uncomfortable is how you get to be better.
I totally agree with that. What is that comfort zone on that team that you are trying to unlock?
Well, it's just pushing yourself. You know, when kids get tired, it's easy to say, yeah, I'm tired. They don't realize they have more in the tank. You know, you're tired when you pass out and the trainer has to come over to see you. But, you know, that's the part that for me is I just hate to lose.
Right.
And, you know, if my mom and I'm playing against my mama, sorry, Mom, you know, I'm going to have to block your shot. You know, and you talk about softball. If Mom's the catcher and I'm coming into home plate, cleats are up because I'm coming. You know, I got to get in there. And I love her to death. But, you know, that's just the mentality that I've always had. And, you know, kids they're just not, you know, we're mid-major too. We're not getting that kid that's that elite kid that wants to go to the WNBA. But the ones that we sign in the 21 class are the 21 class that wants to go and play overseas in the WNBA, and that brings a different mentality to your day every practice, where they don't just want to get their degree and go on, and be successful in business. They want to continue to play the game they love. So that'll change with some of the players that we bring in.
And what is your mentality, Coach, when it comes to these upcoming, well, in general, conference wins?
Well, I mean, we want to get through the non-conference season, and obviously the South Carolina and the Clemson are games that are on our schedule that it's pretty big reach. But if we can go 4-2 going home for Christmas, be very happy. Then, we come back here for conference games, and the conference, boy, it's a battle. And now we're going to play back-to-back games where we play Saturday and Sunday, and there's no day in between because of the COVID. So, it'll be a quick scout. It'll be a play that day, get rest, make sure you're disciplined, get back, in the gym and do it again. So whichever team has the depth, stays healthy, doesn't have any COVID issues, should be successful. But, when I lose a game, I'm not happy until I get another win, and I was just like that always as a player too. So, it's just that hopefully these South Carolina and Clemson games will prepare us for the good teams in our conference. And in our conference, when I say good teams, when you have 10 teams, anybody can win in any day. And you can't take anybody for granted. There's very good players. There's very good coaching. And you got to make sure you tie it up and play. And whoever plays the hardest and the smartest usually is successful.
Coach Robin Harmony, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thanks. Great to see you again.
Likewise.